Robert Sumwalt, and I'm the chairman of the National Transportation Safety Board. And the NTSB is launching a GO team to Philadelphia to begin our investigation of this event involving a Southwest Airlines flight earlier this morning. Here's the information that we have at this time. At about 11:15 this morning, Southwest Flight 1380, that's a Boeing 737-700, was en route from LaGuardia to Dallas Love when it suffered an apparent engine failure, in-flight engine failure of the left engine, and subsequently diverted into Philadelphia. The registration number of the aircraft is November 772 Sierra Whiskey 772 SW. We know that there were 144 passengers and 5 crew members aboard. We do know that there have been injuries, and we would like to offer our condolences to all of those who've been affected by this event. The NTSB's GO team will be sending specialists with expertise in power plants, airworthiness, survival factors, and operations. We're also sending specialists from the NTSB's Office of Transportation Disaster Assistance who will be there to help with the needs of those who've been affected by this event. It's our understanding that the recorders have been secured, and they should be flying back on the same airplane that we're going up on. They should be back in Washington tonight. We expect a preliminary readout of those recorders in the NTSB's lab in Washington this evening. We expect to arrive in Philadelphia around 4:30 this afternoon, and we will begin our immediate investigation, examination of the engine and the damage to the fuselage. The engine will be ultimately shipped off-site, where we can do a detailed examination, teardown of the engine. We expect to release factual information from Philadelphia once we get up there. We're just now beginning our journey. This will be an extensive investigation, and we do expect to release information once we're in Philadelphia. We certainly don't have a lot of factual information to report at this time. Follow us for the latest information, for our latest media interviews. You can follow us from Twitter. Our handle is @NTSB_newsroom, or at our website, www.ntsb.gov. As you know, we do need to get on the airplane and head up to Philadelphia so we can get on with this investigation. But I'll be glad to take a few questions. If you would, just raise your hands, and I'll call on you and state your name and your outlet. And you had your hand raised first.
Becky Carlo, ABC News. How concerned are you that this is a repeat of that August 2016 incident with another Southwest flight? And can you describe some of those injuries that were in this incident?
Well, the two-part question, is this related to, or are we concerned that this might be related to the event that happened a few years ago over the Gulf of Mexico? And, first and foremost, we want to look at this particular event and see what the factors are surrounding this. And maybe they're related to that previous event, and maybe they're not. But we need to understand what's going on here. As far as the injuries, we do have information there was one fatality. Any other questions? Right here.
Michelle Dugan, NBC News. Can you speak to how rare an uncontained engine fire is?
Well, so the term, you said an uncontained engine fire. Some people are saying an uncontained engine failure. We don't think there was a fire at all. Now, the term has been widely used this morning and this afternoon, uncontained engine failure. Now, I don't want to sound bureaucratic, but that uncontained engine failure connotates a very specific thing. The engine is designed not to have an uncontained engine failure. There are protection rings around the engine to keep shrapnel from coming out. Even though we believe that there were parts coming out of this engine, it may not have been in that section of the engine that technically would qualify this as an uncontained engine failure. So at this point, At this point, the NTSB is classifying this. We are saying this is as an engine failure. Once we get there and look at it, we may say, well, in fact, this is an uncontained engine failure. We do know that parts came off the engine, but those parts may not have been in that section of the engine that is associated with the protection region associated with an uncontained engine failure. There's a question here.
Steve Trimble with Flight Global. Can you start with the status of the investigation on Flight 3472? Is there any pending recommendation about payment?
What is the status of the previous Southwest Airlines uncontained engine failure, or engine failure, I should say, that was classified as an uncontained engine failure? I don't have that information right now. Our focus right now is getting out the door at headquarters and getting on this airplane so that we can get up to Philadelphia. Yes, sir.
Manual Cassani, CBS News. On a former 3737 pilot, have you ever experienced a situation like this?
As a former Boeing 737 pilot, I flew the 737 for 10 years. Have I ever experienced a situation like this? And the answer to that is no. I'll take 2 more questions. There's a question right here.
I understand you can't classify this. How unusual is an uncontained engine failure versus how unusual is a midair?
Yeah, great question. So even if this is not an uncontained engine failure, how frequent does the NTSB see what we technically do qualify as an uncontained engine failure? And the answer to that is about 3 or 4 a year. And not all of those involve U.S. carriers. In late fall, there was an A380 that had an uncontained engine failure over Greenland. That was not a U.S. carrier. So we see about 3 or 4 of those a year. There's one last question. I'll take it right here.
Yes, sir. We understand there was a proposed airworthiness directive involving this model of engine. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So what can I tell you about a proposed airworthiness directive on this engine? Now, the engine is a CFM 56 engine, which is a very widely used engine in commercial transport. And the CFM 56, there are various iterations of that. And so I can't say exactly what that airworthiness directive might have applied to at this point, but that will be part of our investigation. Again, we're just now getting together and heading up to Philadelphia. So those types of things we can go back and look at down the road. Our focus now is to get up to Philadelphia so that we can collect the perishable information, the information that goes away with the passage of time. So my commitment to you is that while I'm on scene, we will be releasing information as we know it. If we have something tonight, we will have a media briefing. If we don't, we won't have it. But we do plan to release information as we hear it. I want to thank you all very much for being here. We are going to get on the airplane now and head up to Philadelphia. Thank you very much.